So, on today's podcast, with Thanksgiving approaching, I want to focus on the practice of giving thanks for the people, the experiences, and pursuits that we're all thankful for. And do we as people, let alone leaders, teams, organizations, do we take enough time to step back and practice the giving of thanks to the people and progress that's being made around us? Welcome back to the Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast, wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today. So glad you're here. So glad you are taking time to step back, to hopefully be challenged, to think a little bit, to breathe a little good oxygen into yourself, and think about the temperature that you're trying to set in your life and your work. If you are new to the podcast, then welcome in. So glad you're here. We're in Season 8, which means we've got well over 250 episodes now. So just go on Google, type in Jason Barger, the Thermostat, and whatever topic you want related to leadership and culture, and I'm sure you're going to find some stuff from past episodes that hopefully resonates with you. If you're one of the OGs that have been with us from the very beginning of this journey of this podcast, then so glad this continues to add a value to your life and your work. My commitment to the listeners is that I want to continue to put stuff out there that even in an efficient amount of time allows you some time to kind of step back, think, hopefully give something that gets your mind and your heart going so that you can think about that temperature that you're trying to set in your life and in your work. So before we dive into today, if you'll do me the quick favor, as always, if you'll rate the podcast 5 stars, of course, again, I keep being told you got to keep telling people that. So if you'll do that for me on whatever platform you're listening to, smash the 5-star button. If you'll leave an authentic review in your own words, that helps other people find it. Find the podcast and episodes that might resonate with them. And obviously, every time you share the podcast, either on social media or send a link out to friends and colleagues or your team and say, hey, let's listen to this episode and then let's talk about what it means for us. Those are ways in which this podcast continues to be amplified and shared further in the world. And I'm grateful for everybody that does that. That's the whole point. Share good messages in a very noisy, crowded, often negative and divided world. So I hope this is helpful to you. Some of you know that my background, but as a basketball player throughout my high school and college years, I always remember the week of practice around the Thanksgiving holiday. I can still feel the feeling in the gym, the smells in the gym, it's typically around the Thanksgiving holiday. It's typically your season has just gotten underway after all of the preseason stuff, and there was always an excitement about the year ahead and all the new beginnings, and there's certainly preparation for the games that are beginning around the Thanksgiving holiday. But I can still remember just the feeling around that of trying to, getting ready for this holiday that was coming up, but trying to stay dialed into the practice and that unique time of the year. But it always seemed to be a time in the practice schedule that was easy to get distracted by the upcoming holiday, or the break that we were going to get. And I remember players thinking about and focusing on the day or two that we might get to sneak away. Some years we got to sneak away for a day or two to celebrate Thanksgiving with family and friends. But I remember people that it was hard to stay focused because it was getting distracted about the excitement of at least just having a day break or a day or two break. And I think about those days of anticipating the opportunity to kind of slow down and appreciate Thanksgiving. And the reality is, and certainly always was, is that we actually need the practice. Each year when we sit down at the Thanksgiving meal and hopefully share what we are thankful for and the people around us, we also are reminded that Thanksgiving isn't just a one-time-a-year thing. I mean, I know the holiday is, but in fact, as we think about it, to truly be thankful and to be a person that is truly thankful, it requires practice. We need the practice in our lives to bring that spirit of gratitude, appreciation, and thanksgiving to life. So even like the basketball practice around that time, even when it felt like it was easy to get distracted, the reality is the message that I remember thinking about was the practicing of Thanksgiving needs to carry on well beyond just the holiday. So on today's podcast, with Thanksgiving approaching, I want to focus on the practice of giving thanks for the people, the experiences, and pursuits that we're all thankful for. And do we as people, let alone leaders, teams, organizations, do we take enough time to step back and practice the giving of thanks to the people and progress that's being made around us? But before we dive into today's topic, let's take a quick break, pause, and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference, or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. So first, as we begin this, as we're approaching Thanksgiving, I'll practice this myself. And today is going to be a bit of a practice of sharing this kind of thanks. And I'll start by just saying thank you. So a sincere thank you to listeners out there, people that read my books, people that have attended and or been a part of events that I've spoken at, the leaders, teams, and organizations that I'm grateful to support and collaborate with over a longer period of time, and that I have gotten to know as humans, and certainly I see myself as a partner in trying to support and help them what they're trying to do as a team and organization. So I'll just start out by saying thank you to all of you out there that are listening or caring about these messages and this kind of work and thinking in the world. So thank you to all of you who breathe good oxygen into me and are committed to the progress that we are seeking, within your team or your organization or at that event or just in your life. I'm thankful for, and I actually practice this daily, which you'll hear me talk about on this podcast, of reminding myself I get to do this work. So thank you for all of you out there who believe in me, that have supported this work and partnered together to make an impact on people and organizations. I'm truly, truly thankful for that. I'll also just quickly pause to say, we're just a couple of weeks now removed from my Thermostat Cultures Live event. And I'm just will say what another just powerful day. And so thanks to everybody who's been a part of that, who attended, has been engaged in that event. Now, this was the 8th year that we've done it. And so much great stuff has happened. And I just am grateful for even the opportunity to get to host something like that and to bring such great people together. And so today I want to practice, though, and I want to model, I want to breathe oxygen into myself and allow myself to experience this oxygen that is thankfulness. And I want to practice it. So, because again, beyond just the holiday, I think there's opportunity throughout my life and throughout my year is to try to challenge myself to practice this kind of giving of thanks more regularly. And as I talk about in my latest book, Breathing Oxygen, mindsets either help us breathe easier and healthier and handle hard things better, or we find ourselves, it's easy to slip into kind of breathing that toxic air of blame and negativity and gossip, et cetera. The practice of giving thanks challenges us to stop what we're doing and acknowledge the great stuff around us. It shifts our lens to gratitude, the lens through which we see what is in front of us, what is around us, and what we are facing. It shifts our eyes off of all that is imperfect around us and fixates our eyes on what we are thankful for, grateful for, and what we are fortunate to be experiencing in our lives and work. And so in practicing this art of giving thanks, I'll share a personal way that I try to say thank you and give thanks to others throughout the year, not just at Thanksgiving time, although I love Thanksgiving. I've had for a number of years now, I've had my own kind of daily practice of what some people would refer to as kind of a gratitude prayer. I think of it as just a pause before you get into the busyness of a day, before you get focused on all the things that need your attention and your heart and the things you're trying to accomplish or whatever the goals are for the day. Before I even get into that, I try to practice bringing my mind and acknowledging the things that I want to remember and be grateful for and carry with me into whatever I have going on that day. And so Thanksgiving practice for some time now has been share a little bit of kind of what I do. And I'll share kind of what that practice is. Most days I do this, few minute practice to begin my day. Some days, a lot of days I do it like while I'm on a drive. Before I do this, before every keynote speech I give, every time I'm with a new team or organization, every time I'm going to collaborate with somebody or be a part of a company and help them with leadership development or culture shaping or mission, vision, value stuff that we're diving into. Before all of these, I take a few minutes to really center myself. And even if I'm having a one-on-one chat or somebody I'm getting together with for coffee or a client meeting, just to make sure that I'm going in there with the spirit and the mindset that I want to be a part of. And so I simply take a few minutes to roll through a litany of things that I'm thankful for in my life and the things that I'm grateful for. And I talk about my wife and that I'm grateful for the reality that we're together. And I talk about the life that we are co-creating and the things that I appreciate and the things that I know, in all of our lives are imperfect. But what is it that we're, how can we be even better for each other and to each other tomorrow? I talk about, and I'm grateful for my kids, and I name them each by name, and I acknowledge the kind of developmental stages that they each are in. And that changes certainly over a year and certainly day to day, the things that I know they might be thinking about or wrestling with, and grateful that I get to be their dad and hopefully be a presence in their life that helps them, navigate their way through those things. I talk about and I acknowledge my parents. Many of you on this know that I've lost both my parents, but to be able to take a moment each day to even acknowledge how lucky I am to have had them as parents and the experiences that we shared together, the lessons they taught me, the ways in which seeing the world that they helped shape for me, I acknowledge that. And I think about my, our immediate, family that I was lucky to have, my brother, my sister, and that unit and the belief in each other and the support of each other. I talk about, and I'm the grateful spirit of my extended family and the kind of generational kind of love and support that I've always felt and been lucky to. And I know not everybody has been lucky to feel that, but from grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins and, all of these things, which again, no family unit and system is perfect. Of course, everybody's got their challenges and their issues and all that kind of stuff. But to pause for a second and to acknowledge how lucky I am to have people and been surrounded by people that I love and care about, and I know they love and care about me. I express gratitude and thanks for my in-laws and my nieces and nephews and the people in life that have brought color and joy to my life in that way. I name and I'm grateful for the true friendships, the long and loyal friendships that have walked with me and believe in me and picked me up when I'm needed and celebrated with me and people that I know if I needed something, I'd pick up a call, they'd be that right there for me. I even name people that are emerging kind of friends and people that I'm glad that those friendships or those relationships are growing and to be able to breathe some good oxygen into those kind of newly forming friendships. I express gratitude for any and all the people in the world who are working each day to make things better for people, for issues, social issues, for challenges that any of us face in the world. I name the people I know who might be struggling right now, and I give thanks for them and send love and well wishes their way. It's a practice of giving thanks and being intentional and expressing gratitude that helps me open up my perspective and give thanks not just once a year, but try to live each day, totally imperfectly, of course, but try to live each day out of this kind of spirit of thankfulness. I share that with you today because I'm thankful for anyone who's listening. Again, I name that my gratitude for the chance to get to do this type of work in the world. I express, again, my thankfulness for the leaders and the teams and organizations that I partner with to engage minds and hearts and stimulate progress towards the cultures that they're trying to create together, and to continue to raise the bar on our own leadership and the performance we're aiming for. I express gratitude for the ability to use my mind and my heart to hopefully breathe good oxygen into others. And, I'm thankful for the ecosystem that surrounds this work and the opportunity to share these things and try to connect and add value to people around me. I also share this with you to invite you to do the same thing for your life and your work. I mean, you'll have your own, you don't have to do this exact same practice, but I'm inviting us to think about, how, sometime over Thanksgiving, what would it look like for you to try to extend Thanksgiving and practice this kind of thinking and practice this daily or weekly in your life? And maybe it's just simply starting by writing that out, saying it out loud, spilling out of your mind and your heart. What are you grateful for? And who are those people or those situations that you want to celebrate? And kind of breathe oxygen into this thankfulness, for yourself, and then to share it with other people and let them know your gratitude. We have the opportunity to embrace and approach our teams and our cultures that we're creating by honoring authenticity and courage to share our gifts. And so reach out to tell those around you, celebrate people, celebrate progress, give genuine thankfulness for the people around you. And what I'll say is that the leaders and teams and organizations who understand this and are committed to kind of practicing this kind of thinking, they tend, performance tends to expand. And those are the organizations that people want to be a part of. And those are the teams that people want to celebrate. And they tend to retain more of their best people and attract more people because it's not just about the work. It's about the spirit and the heart and the gratitude for the chance to get to do the work and get to do the work with people you care about and genuinely want to succeed. And so we know that thriving relationships, teams, and cultures aren't something that just naturally come together. They are intentionally led and co-created. And because we know, and you've heard me talk on this podcast many a times, that cultures are dynamic, which means they're changing all the time, moment by moment, every single day. They're always changing and evolving. We get to help them become what they will be in the future. And everyone who is a part of the ecosystem plays a role in that. The process for how we find creative solutions, how we show up, the mindset guides our actions and our interactions. So, as always, I'll leave you with some questions to ponder for this week. What is your list of things you are thankful for in your life and your work? What will you say out loud, and what can you share with others? And if thankfulness is oxygen, how can you commit to a practice beyond just a holiday of giving thanks? So I hope today's episode got you thinking in some ways, and hopefully just, if nothing else, made you feel grateful and thankful and excited for the holiday ahead. I hope it gave you some chance to kind of step back and to think and maybe recalibrate your thermostat, if you will. And I hope you'll continue to dive in. I hope you'll go back, check out old episodes. Again, Google my name and thermostat and whatever topic you want, and chances are that you'll find something that hopefully resonates with you. Thanks to everybody that rates the podcast, 5 stars, reviews, shares these messages with the people around you. Those are the ways in which it spreads, and we can help set a temperature that hopefully cares for the people around us. So I hope you'll keep tuning in. Remember, the best teams, the best leaders, the best cultures stimulate progress by calibrating that thermostat together. Step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.